Hello, everyone. Bob Boxler here. I am the infill guy. I am coming to you today wearing my Tom Brady TB12 jersey because it's football season and my fiance got me this, and I respect Tom Brady. Not that I love the team necessarily. I do like Tampa Bay, but I just respect that person who can push themselves and become the best of the best. Like that inspires me. So I support them and their team. And yeah, so welcome. It is Saturday. Wanted to get to you all. Let me get my microphone on because there's no time to waste. I'm realizing and recalling that life is urgent. Every day that goes by is one less day we have to be where we want to be and need to be with who we want to be with. So we got to get busy getting there. Get yourself in that position that you can choose to be where you want to be when you need to be there with who you need to be with. Don't let somebody else call the shots for you. And that's a big part of all this. But today I'm going to give you what this channel is all about. This channel is about giving you the edge as you continue to invest in real estate or get started investing in real estate. Let's not beat around the bush. Investing in anything is risky. You can lose your money. This is no different, especially in real estate. People lose a lot of money trying to dive in and buy real estate as an investment. I'm going to share with you tips and tricks to minimize, squish that risk down as far as we can. There's no getting rid of all of it. Like, it's still risky. I'm just going to be honest with everyone. But the strategies I've learned to hone in on and really focus on, and I'm doing it my last handful of deals, this strategy is going to give you the most flexibility I can think of and still keep it very simple, very entry level to doing deals just like these. So let me make sure my microphone's on, and then we're going to dig in. Short episode today, but this is awesome stuff. So when you turn on the TV, you look into invest in real estate, you probably see HGTV, you probably see flipping shows, selling sunset shows, $1 million house shows, and that's all great. That's exciting, like big numbers, big flip projects, big profit numbers at the end of the show, right? But they don't talk a lot about the risk that those people are taking on. Whenever you buy something with the sole intention of selling it, how many variables are there to play with in that equation? I mean, there's the buy price and the sale price. We could argue that the repairs are a big variable. I mean, they are in that you get to decide and need to figure out how many repairs to do or not do. How many updates? Do we make this a diamond-plated, golden countertop, luxury everything house, or do we keep it simple? We maybe swap out the plumbing, put a roof on it, paint it, update the kitchen a bit, and then sell it. Those are things inside of your control. But in flipping, there's really only 2 and maybe 3 variables because you got to decide a bit on that rehab, right? But generally, you're going to have to do some rehab, and it's going to be kind of fixed. I'd say there is a perfect, I don't want to say perfect, but there's a least risk approach to how much rehab you do or don't do. And it's up to us to understand our market enough to employ that when we have the opportunities come about. But purchase price and sale price are really all that are in our control in flips. And flips take a lot of time. Like, you can't buy today, do all that work in a day, and then sell tomorrow. It takes 3 to 6 to sometimes 9 months to get into a project, get it fixed up, and then get it back on the market. And that is a lot of time. We're have lived through, and we're still living in a really large bull market, always seems to be climbing. Houses are easy to buy and sell. Most importantly, they're easy to sell. Buying's kind of challenging because a lot of people are trying to buy. So selling has been easy, but it's not always going to be like that. And how quickly, if things ever change, how quickly will they change from a easy to sell situation for sellers to a difficult to sell situation for sellers? Something to think about, because you know what you buy at, or you decide what price you can buy at, but that ARV, that after repair value, that what I'm going to sell it for at the end, that can change. And as more time goes by, the variability in that number, the risk of it changing a lot, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Sure, we've like I said, we come out of a place in time where the ARV has been climbing on people, and that's really saved a lot of people's skin. But if we get to a position where values flatten or come down, what's that going to do to somebody who buys a property? They don't have a ton of savings. They're just excited to get going, and they're going to flip this house and make $40,000, say 50 grand. This is a big deal. They're going to buy for 300,000. They're going to do $100,000 work. They're going to sell it for 500,000. I'm just making up numbers. And they're going to make 50 grand. It's going to be awesome. But their margin is just that. What happens if the market slows down in those 6 months they're trying to get this thing fixed up with this $100,000 rehab? What happens if the value has come down to 450? What do? Well, they either sell and make $0 of profit, which actually would be a decent option, in my opinion, if your only option was to sell, because we have to protect our downside. If you have short-term financing, and we're going to get into all these things in future episodes, but I'm just trying to get you thinking. There's a ton of risk whenever we buy with a short fuse on our financing or some other element of the deal. Maybe you had to partner up and that partner definitely wants to sell. No matter what happens, they'll put the money in, but they want the money to come out. There are a lot of situations where people buy investment properties for investment to try to make money, and their only options are to buy and sell. That is about the riskiest thing that we can do as real estate professionals, real estate investors, or people that want to invest in real estate. I'm telling you right now, 95% of people out there are thinking, I want to go flip houses and make all this money, but they're talking about the most risky thing to do. I'm saying it loudly because it's that real, and nobody talks about it. Flipping houses sucks, in my opinion. Flipping houses sucks. I should make that the title of my next post. Sure, you make some money, but you take crazy amounts of risk to make a little bit of money. Sometimes it can be a lot of money. And I'm not even saying it's not worth the risk. There are times where it is the right answer to buy this, fix it up, and sell it. I've done it. I will do it again. But you really need to know beyond, as well as you can. You need to be an expert of experts on this little niche, little area, and this situation, this exact house. You need to know the details as best you can. And then you need to bring on competent people that show up on time and get things done and are honest with you to help you hit your timelines. Because especially in this world, unless you're buying with a war chest of cash sitting in your bank account, time is money. Interest will wear down your reserves in a hurry if things stretch longer than you think they will. And they almost always do. So be aware what you see on TV and most people talking about online is the riskiest thing, the riskiest approach to real estate investing that there is. One of. I shouldn't speak in absolutes, but it's up there among the most risky things to just flip, and all your only options, because you're not financeable with the bank for whatever reason to refinance, your only option is to buy it and sell it. Anyone who comes and learns from me, I'm going to make sure they're aware this is the riskiest kind of deal we can do. So I have a question. Say you're like, I get it, but you're like me. You still, you're knowledgeable enough, or you're learning, and you're going to keep learning more. You need to go into the market and make money. You need to participate in the market, whether it's a big bull market or a flat market or a crashing market. We need to be ready to act when opportunity shows up. So I have a question for you. What if we buy a house? We have to fix it up to sell it again, or at least improve it to try to make money. But say we buy a house, a property, we don't make any money on the house, and we sell the deal out, but we still make $50,000 of profit, or sometimes more, sometimes less, whatever the size of the deal. But how could one buy a house, buy a property, fix up the house, sell the house, and still make $50,000 in profit on the deal? I'm telling you, the infill guy. That's my channel. That's what I'm realizing, that the past 4 deals I've done have fallen into this category of I bought a house or a property on a larger piece of land than the minimum required size of land. Now that was a mouthful. I bought a big property with a small house on it, or regular size house on it, but the land it was sitting on came with the house. I bought the house that's fixed to the land and the land. And because of my knowledge of the code, what the city will let us do with the land, I was able to make money with the land, not the house. Tons to absorb, but here's a real quick high level deal that we just got done. It's executed. It's all, the dust is settled. I bought it this year. Small house on a big lot, big piece of land, small house on one side of it. I knew the rules. I knew where to look for the rules in that jurisdiction. Also, I watched the seller try to sell that house for market value and then some. It was kind of beat up, so I saw it sale fail twice. And only after it coming back on the market twice did I say to my broker, let's go in there and see what's going on. Let's ask some questions. Now, I bought the house for market value. I bought the house for market value. This house that I'm either going to refinance and hold on to or flip, I bought it for market value. But it sat on enough land that could be divided into 2 lots that the city would allow. They meet all the city's requirements. Check, 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 all the way down the zoning code. I was able to study the zoning code and realize that I could apply to divide this piece of land into 2 legally buildable pieces of land. And I was aware that where the existing house sat on this land, it met all the requirements of, if I create the smaller lots, it met all the requirements on the small lot as well. Very important detail that I want, and we're going to dive into more in the future, but where that existing structure sits is extremely important to check. Not only that it's okay where it is today, but it's okay for where it sits in relation to the new property lines you're going to draw and create. Okay, gathering my thoughts. We bought a big piece of land with a small house on one side. Within 1 month of ownership, I split that lot into 2 lots. One lot had a house sitting on it, the one I just bought. The other lot was just the side yard of this house. So just a blank piece of dirt. And within 1 month of ownership, I had 2 properties from my one. The house I need to clean up and sell, or I could refinance it. But with what's going on in the world, this is 2022, I bought this property in March of 2022. We were all watching interest rates spike and skyrocket. So me wanting to get in front of any uncertainty in the marketplace, I decided in that moment, hey, I was going to think about holding on to this thing. Now I know I'm going to sell it. I'm just going to flip this house. And while I was thinking about holding on to this land, going into it, these were my plans. I'm going to either sell one and keep the other, probably hold on to the land, sell the house. I was planning on holding on to half or all of this. Once I saw the world changing quickly, because it can change quickly, it was a matter of a month, maybe a month and a half, from bidding war, hundreds of buyers walking through every open house as they came on the market in February, to very few feet coming into open houses and houses sitting on the market for 2, 3, 4 weeks come a month or 2 later. So it happened fast. And we're not in a bad place for sellers, but I'm trying to get out in front of all the changes that are coming with all these interest rates climbing. Not enough people are saying we're in a very risky environment for sellers. If you're planning to sell something or you need to sell something, you should sell it ASAP. Because the further into the future we look, with what the Fed is doing to interest rates and their tonality about bringing down inflation, means they're going to be more and more aggressive to stop the demand. They're trying to crush demand. Supply has continued to be a problem, but they're trying to crush demand so supply can catch up. And it is. Okay, So we have a house, we have a lot with a house on it and a piece of land that is just dirt. Going into this, I knew this was my plan, so I researched how much might this land be worth on the market. So before I'd even finished cleaning up the house to sell it, I put my piece of bare dirt on the market for sale. And within one day, I had an offer that was acceptable to me to make the margins work on my deal that I wanted to achieve. And I sold the piece of dirt. We closed 30 days later. Even after closing that dirt, the money is in my bank account. I'm still not even close to done rehabbing this house. Fixing up a property, even if it's a small rehab, which this was, takes a lot of time. So we always think it's going to go a lot faster than it actually will go. Long story short, I was able to sell the land before even finishing the rehab. I got to use the proceeds from that land sale to rehab the house, which was incredible. It prevented me from having to bring more of my own cash to fix things up or borrowing and bringing somebody else's cash. And long story short, I got the rehab done on the house. I listed it for sale and I sold it for a little less than I bought that damn house for in the beginning. That's insane? It wouldn't make sense to a lot of people. I did not make a single dollar on that house. Where I made money was providing infill to the community. The community needs housing. There's a demand for housing. I was aware of that and I created an opportunity to build a house in the side of the yard. I personally didn't want to be the one to build it. I'm not in the right place. I'm not in the right moment in time. The market's not in the right moment in time for me to be the one to build that house. So I put it on the market for sale. Somebody else who is in the market providing that service, building homes, they immediately showed up after one day on the market and made me an acceptable offer. And they should be excited that they get to build a house in a nice neighborhood. I'm sure they are. Personally, I was excited to get this project done. I just had to manage a light rehab of a small 2-bedroom, 1-bath little bungalow, about a $40,000 improvement to this house. And after 5 months of ownership of this property, I got to walk out of the neighborhood completely for the moment. I'll be back. But for the time being, buy, fix up, sell, I got to do all that work. And 5 months later, walk away with a nice little profit on the order of those numbers we were talking about earlier. I bought a house for X. I sold it for X minus like $5,000, but I walked away making a nice 15% net profit after all expenses on the job. So I want to ask you, is that something you're interested in learning how to do? Because that's what I'm going to share more and more. I've got to pry it out of my head and get it into my channel, get it into my Substack. If you haven't seen my Substack newsletter, sign up for it. Go to Substack and search for Bob Boxler, the infill guy. I'm putting a link in the description to this video. But go follow me on Substack. I'm going to post a lot more content there. I also have a Facebook group, OR Real Estate Investing. Go find that because there's a ton of people in that group. I'm in Oregon, so that was my group when I started it. And it's an amazing place where a ton of people who are actually out there doing deals are sharing what to do and what, more importantly, what not to do. Last but not least, it's too much to share in this video. We're going to call it a day here in 2 minutes, but I'm going to share the most incredible part of this strategy. This is a strategy, the infill play. Go find properties that are on pieces of land that are big enough to allow you to expand what is there. You might be buying one today, but because of what you know to look for and study in the zoning codes, you know there's expandability to break a piece of land off or develop more on this one piece of property that you're buying in the beginning. It's not there today, but you know with your knowledge and the rule book, it all can be there tomorrow if you market it that way or you create it by going through the process with the cities. Now, here's the most incredible part of this strategy. Remember at the beginning, I talked a lot about risk. Buy, fix up, sell. Those two variables are super risky. Well, with this strategy, friends and family and everyone in the world, we not only shrink that risk, but we bring it down so drastically, I get excited about it. In this example, we bought a property for $320,000, $325,000. I sold the lot, the dirt, the bare dirt that this house is sitting on that we just bought for $320,000. I sold the dirt for $140,000. So in that situation, if I were to decide the market had changed and I couldn't sell this house for a price that I was excited about, and I was going to not make enough profit, or I would be happy just to rent it long term, well, I unlocked $140,000 in the deal by selling that lot off. Now that could go to knocking your loan against the property down. That could go into your pocket if you're a cash buyer. Now you're, instead of being 320 out, you're only 180 out. You own this house in a great A+ area for 180 grand when the house that would be brand new next to you is going to be worth $600,000. You're in a great equity position, and it would rent for on the order of $2,000 a month plus, 2,000 plus. So you've just created a 1% rule with minimal repairs to that property. 1% rule. That's a very holdable property. If the market changed and you decided, I don't want to sell it, you can now entertain that option. Furthermore, if you bought for $320,000, you sold for $140,000, and you only have $180,000 of obligation now, $180,000 of debt on this house, how hard would it be to go get a new loan? Say you bought it with a hard money loan and you had a 1-year term, which is where a lot of people are getting pinched right now. A lot of investors bought a flip with 1-year term loan money, hard money, that's expensive, and it has a short fuse on it. That 1-year term, at payoff date, they want their money back, or they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. So within that 1 year, we got that lot sold in 2 months. I now own a property with only 180 that the value is arguably $320,000 for this house on the smaller lot, right? How hard would it be to go into the market and look around for options to get a new loan on that property, on that house that has a longer term than 1 year? You're talking about a, I don't know, 50%, 60% loan to value loan, which should, on a single family home, is a very achievable thing to go find, no matter how rough your credit is. Call me. I might be interested in giving you that loan. So my point is, there's a ton more flexibility and a ton more ways that this lessens your risk of being super exposed to loss. I don't want anyone exposed to loss of principal. It's one thing to break even on a deal, but it's another thing to go backwards in your principal, your starting bank account balance. We got to preserve our principal, and hopefully we're growing, we're compounding the growth. So this strategy is huge for A, making money, adding value to a neighborhood, adding value to your portfolio, and B, limiting your risk. We're looking for situations where the upside, you're looking for asymmetric risk. So small risk with big upside. This strategy taps into both of those equations. And I think it's so simple to learn. I'm going to teach it to everyone who tunes in. And we're going to do a lot of deals because of it. I want to help you be successful in your growth and your journey. So go, there you have it. Go find my Substack. Go find the Facebook groups. Go subscribe to this channel. Come back regularly because I'm going to be here. There's not a day to waste. We got to get busy. I hope to see you there, and I look forward to next time.